Hi, and welcome to one of Blue Mountain Community College's library research tutorials. You may have seen a couple others in the series, depending on your class. If you haven't watched one yet, it's just our Getting Started video, and it just introduces you to our website and also steps you might need to take to get a library card number. That's important because of all the resources I'm going to show you in this tutorial. If you'd like to access them off campus, you do need a library card number. Our databases are actually restricted to students, staff, and faculty. So your library card number is kind of your ticket into using these from home, from work, from your coffee shop, wherever you like to go study. So to get started, you may already know how to get to our library page, but if you don't, you just start at the college homepage, bluecc.edu. And I think the easiest way is just to click here on the library link. This tutorial is going to cover using our Academic Search Complete database. It's probably our most used database. It's one that you will see certainly if you plan on going on to a four-year institution. It just really has kind of the greatest coverage of any database, and so you will see that database listed in every subject area. So say Ag and Science, you'll see Academic Search Complete here. In Business, I also have Academic Search Complete listed. It's just that it's everywhere because it covers so much across whatever subject area you're in. We'll go ahead and access it right now from our top library databases. And these are our most frequently used databases. Ones kind of either get you started because they're kind of focused on a topic. And these two right here are more advanced databases. This is when you're digging into research, like peer-reviewed research, or you need to find a little bit more about kind of a detail about a subject area. So we'll go ahead and look at Academic Search Complete. So Academic Search Complete is the name of this database. Sometimes you will hear somebody say, call it an EBSCO. Oh, go do some research in the EBSCO. That EBSCO I kind of like to describe as like, like it's the mall or the grocery store. You go to the mall or you go to the grocery store, but you're really looking for a specific thing. And that's the same with databases. You're actually getting into the specific database. Like you're going to the mall. Yeah, you're going to the mall, but you're really going to the shoe store or you're going to the sporting goods store. And that's what EBSCO and Academic Search Complete kind of is, because actually if I click here on Choose Databases, you will see all the different databases that are you can search. They're all EBSCO databases, but depending on what you click on, will change what you get. So if you are doing something, say, on a business topic, you might want to click that as well. If you're doing something on education, well, ERIC's our education database, and this little bubble will tell you that. If you are doing something, say, in the sciences, like on agriculture, is what you want to do. And just, you just click on that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And like a lot of our databases, they're really kind of set up with this way of framing your search. You really start with your main topic, and you can just stick to your main topic, but you might find yourself really kind of wanting to add more details. Those, say you want to do, in this case, I'm going to give an example for a science class. Say you want to do some work on invasive species, for example. You might want to do that and look at invasive species, and you might want to look at specific habitats, like perhaps you want to look at riparian habitats, perhaps you want to look at certain issues with invasive species, a certain kind of invasive species. Maybe you want to look at algae. Maybe you want to look at certain animals are considered an invasive species if they're non-native to the area, non-indigenous to the area. You might want to look at particular issues with invasive species, such as environment, environmental impact, for example, environmental health. Or you can just do that. Totally up to you. Or again, you can just start really broad and just do environmental invasive species, because you can always narrow down later. So it really depends on how you like to research and thinking about what makes things easier for you, how you like to explore, how you like to focus. And all these below that search box, these are all different ways you can limit your search. Again, you can do this all later. After you hit search, all these filters should still be there. It just depends on what you'd like to start with. For my search style, I know I like to see everything as much as possible, and then I'll narrow down. That's what I like to do. Of all of these, the one result limit you might want to apply possibly is you might want to apply the date published, for example. If you're doing something in science, business, a current event, you might want to limit to the last either few years or the last month even of what's been published on your topic. That can really help you narrow things down. You don't necessarily want a science article from 1962. You might, but you might not. So just something to keep in mind. I mean, there's some other limiters as well. You can narrow down to, images, for example, and such. Speeches even. So, but again, I think most people just like to do that. But what the good and bad of that is you get a lot of results. So, but I can show you how to narrow this down. So one thing you can do right away is if you already know that you want to look at invasive species, you can add your and right now. If you already know you want that and to be, I don't know, algae, you can do that. If you want to limit it to coral reefs, you can do that, and that's just a matter of, typing that in. I'm typing algae, and hit search. And I am, down to 185. Wow, really focused, right, on my topic. If I wanted to take that out and start over again, easy peasy, you just do that. The other filters you can do, because you perhaps still do want to browse, as I mentioned, you can do all that right here. If for your topic you want to limit to scholarly peer-reviewed journals, you can certainly do that. It's kind of up to you, and I think that really, it depends on your assignment need, right? I mean, you might be in a situation where your instructor says you need 2 to, I don't know, 5 peer-reviewed journal articles. You can click that. A reason to leave it unchecked is if you think you're still at a point where you're learning about your topic, you might want to keep it a little bit more open, so you get things like news articles. You still get things like, I don't know, reports and things like that, something that might not be peer-reviewed. I mentioned this in another tutorial, but just a quick recap. A quick way to describe the difference between peer-reviewed and non-peer-reviewed, or sometimes it's called primary sources versus secondary sources, is something that's peer-reviewed is really something that comes from and is written by the original researcher, our professor, our scholar. They have created a hypothesis. They have created a methodology for testing the hypothesis. They speak to their anticipated findings. They document what their methodology and how they use to seek those findings, and then they usually have a conclusion at the end, which points to further direction in their research. That's about kind of a more scientific example of peer review. In the humanities, sometimes it can be just the peer review looks more like, oh, I surveyed all the literature on this topic, and most people are discussing this issue this way. Here is my voice, and that's all of the conversation. So some main key things, there's usually a really specific hypothesis, there's some evidence given to support that hypothesis, conclusion with the findings, and then maybe more ways for research. And again, written by professors, scholars, researchers. News articles tend to be written by journalists or reporters, and those can be great sources of information, but that's why they're called secondary. Quite often when you read something like I don't know, Time, as current, or National Geographic, or Prevention, they're reporting on studies from primary research. So again, they haven't actually done the research themselves. They're just reporting and sharing that story, sharing their findings as a reporter. And kind of this is working with peer review researchers, so you as students and as scholars can get involved in the peer review and understanding that process. So, so that's the recap of the difference between the two, and why or why not you might want to check that box. Totally up to you. But other things you can do to limit, you can, again, change your time period. So say you really want to look at issues of invasive species, but you really want to focus on the last 3 years, for example. That really, it's cut our research down more than half. If you want to get some ideas of, focusing on different subject areas, I like just pointing these out as well. Say you wanted, like I said, you could focus just on plants if you wanted to. This looks at specifically invasive plants. If you want to look at biodiversity issues, you could click there. The number next to it, if I click there, it'll take me to all the articles that cover invasive species and biodiversity, and in this case that'd be 102. So we've really focused in right at that point, and you can always see more. The other thing to do is simply, look at the titles and see what is interesting to you, if anything. And you'll probably get an idea pretty quickly if this is too much, or this is too little, and if you need to narrow down. If your subject happened to be on, say, freshwater turtle species, well, bonus, it happened to come up in the first 10. You may have found yourself wanting to go look specifically into adding turtles as your, as your example. But I want to point this out to you. Say we're interested in this. I'm going to click here. And what's helpful here is here's the title of the article itself. And as I scroll down here, the authors. I can see it came out pretty recently in June 2018. But I'm getting a little bit of a, let me scroll over here if I can, your box. I'm getting a little bit of a summary of the articles, giving me an idea of like, will I be a little bit more interested in this? It looks like it's looking at what animals can survive at, their incubated eggs, how maybe it affects different habitats and ecology and that sort of thing. So that's something to keep in mind. You can find out right away, is this interesting me or not? Do I want to spend any more time reading this? Actually is what it helps you do. If you say, yep, I do actually want to read this, over here on the left, there's either going to be a link to a PDF or an HTML link if we have full text access, and you can just click there. In this case, there's only PDF. And it takes you to what the article actually looked like in the journal. And one thing that you'll see is you're going to usually see more of the authors. You're going to see where they're affiliated from. So in this case, they are from a university in China. It looks like the School of Life and Environmental Sciences at Hangzhou Normal University in Hangzhou, Zhejiang, China. When it was written, again, more of that summary. But again, a lot of those things, introducing the topic. As I mentioned earlier, here's kind of what they're studying, their question. A lot of scientific charts. This is peer-reviewed, right? It's not as easy to read. But like the other database, and like most of our databases, they have tools to, if you want this article, you can, again, print it. You can email it to yourself. If you need help citing it, that tool's right there. And again, for a science class, you'd use APA. For most of our other classes in humanities or writing, you would use MLA. And again, when I do research, I tend to have my research database open on one screen, my Word document open in another window, and if I find an article I like, I just copy and paste that citation. So it's there waiting for me. I don't have to worry about it. There's this other cool feature now that you can add this right to a Google Drive. So if you have a Google Drive account, they just added that a few months ago. I love it. I just save things now to my Google Drive. So another way that I have it still available, so I don't print it and there it goes. Let me go back. So this is pretty big. This was a little overwhelming, this topic. So let's go ahead and look at invasive species, and I'm going to go ahead and type in my algae example. Algae search. So again, we're down to 185. My limiters such as date are still there. Sometimes pay attention to that. Sometimes it does go away. But again, I could look specifically at certain kinds of algae. If I want to look at, I don't know, marine algae versus, I don't know what kind of algae. I'm not a scientist actually, what I would look at, but that might be helpful. So again, this gives you some examples of what might be useful in what you're looking for. Aquatic, and one thing also to pay attention to different phrases. So we did algae, that was really specific. You might come back and say aquatic invasive species. Well, that's maybe another way of putting what I'm looking for. You can go back and say, be flexible, really be willing, especially when you're first starting your search, to really change it up. Invasive species and aquatic. How does that change things, for example? Well, we have 100 more, but, this is looking at, wow, forecasting distributions of aquatic invasive species under future climate scenarios. That's kind of interesting. How are things going to change as the climate changes? So I'll go ahead and click here. Again, and it's a similar thing at this point. There's the title. You can see these authors who are probably pretty well versed. The article is going to be in PDF over here, and you can get a lot more related topics. And again, there's summary, and then from that summary you can decide, wait, is this really what I'd like to look at more or not? And then from there, again, the tools are here on the right to, again, email it to yourself, print it out. If you add to a folder, just to warn you, that only lasts during the session. And then, of course, the citation tool. So that's kind of academic search complete for the sciences, kind of in a nutshell. It's playing with your terminology, finding things,